you want to complete your front bumper with a well-built winch to get you out of any situation that you may encounter off-road, this Barricade 12,000-pound winch will be an affordable option for whatever year and Bronco that you're currently working with. Now, with its 12,000-pound pulling capacity, this is going to be a great fit for the heavier applications. If you have a bunch of heavy armor or you've loaded your Bronco to the brim, whether you're overlanding or off-roading, and normally have a higher gross weight. Now, as a rule of thumb, you should choose a winch with a pulling capacity that's 1.5 times the weight of your loaded Bronco. So this one is going to be fantastic with those heavier builds, and again, is going to be an affordable option to do so. Now this, while simple, will get the job done well in recovery situations thanks to the 6.6 horsepower 12-volt series wound motor pulling at roughly 6.5 feet per minute. Now with that being said, used properly, this will be able to help in a variety of different recovery scenarios and can be safely done at a distance thanks to the remote control with a 12-foot lead. This will also include a 94-foot steel winch cable, which will be the tried and true of winching for its durability, sustainability with grittier and more abrasive terrains like winching in sand and mud, and its low maintenance compared to a synthetic line that you will see in the category page. This will have a tough build with a full steel construction, including that winch cable for a strong and long-lasting build. Now the outer portion of this winch will also have a sleek black powder coat to finish the steel underneath and protect it from any rusting over time. Now on the inside, this will have a 3-stage planetary gear system, and to get very specific, it will have a 187 to 2-to-1 gear ratio, which will offer a good amount of power for its pulling capacity and not sacrifice much speed in the line in the meantime. Now all the leads will also have rubber covers to protect the connection, and this will come with everything that you need to install it and use it, including a hook and a roller fair lead, as well as all of the hardware to mount it. Now this will cost you around $375, and again will be one of your most affordable choices for a winch on the page. Now while it is affordable and not jam-packed with fancy features like some of those more expensive options, this is going to be built very well and will have a high load capacity to tackle some of the toughest jobs. Now it's a great entry-level option if you're either looking to fill up the space on your bumper for a more complete build, or you want some insurance for your off-road adventures, just want to keep it budget-friendly in the meantime. Now install for this is going to be easy to wire and mount up depending on your bumper. I'm giving it a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and depending on your setup, it should take you about an hour to get the job done. Now I do want to note that this winch will require a battery with a minimum of 650 cold cranking amps in order to operate properly, so just keep that in mind when you're going to install this. Now at this point, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how you can install this on your Bronco at home. So that is going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
The tools you'll need for this project are a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch drive ratchet, a 10 and a 14 millimeter socket, a short 1/2 inch extension, a 16 and a 17 millimeter socket, a 16 and a 17 millimeter wrench, a stubby Phillips screwdriver, a pair of wire cutters, and a pair of needle nose pliers. Hi everyone, today we're installing a winch on our Bronco, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to want to do is install our fair lead roller. And we've got 2 bolts, 2 hex head bolts with hex nuts on them, and we're going to install this in the front here in the holes provided. Now the reason we're installing this first is because once you get the winch in, you're not going to have very much access to these bolts. So we'll install the first one. Attach our nut to the back just to hold it in place. And then we'll install the other one with the lock washer and flat washer as well. Install our nut behind it. So now we can go ahead and tighten everything up using a 17 millimeter wrench and a 17 millimeter socket with a short extension, or if you've got a deep socket, that'll work as well. Now with our fairlead installed, we can go ahead and install our winch. Now we're ready to install our winch into our bumper. And before we do that, I want to point out a couple of things. One, the winch has 4 mount points here at the bottom of the body. And we've got 4 bolts with square nuts to be able to attach them to. Now these square nuts are going to fit inside each of these legs for the winch mount point. So if you're careful, you can put them all in now. And then set your winch upright. And as long as you carry it flat to install it into your bumper, you should be good to go and not have to worry about putting them back in. So now we're going to go ahead and put this in, and then from the bottom of the bumper, we're going to attach our bolts. Now we're going to go ahead and set our winch down onto our winch plate. Now your access may be different depending on the bumper that you use, but ours is able to just set it in place from the top. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to loosely attach our control module to the very top here. The reason being is that there's a wire on the control module that has to connect to one of the terminals at the bottom of the winch. So we're not going to put the bolts in just yet. We're just going to set our control module on top so we can connect our wires. So now we're going to go ahead and feed our wires down behind our winch for the time being. And then we're going to hook our control module on the front and set it down over the rear bars. Now that being said, this small black wire is the one that's going to be connecting to the bottom of the winch itself. There is a terminal underneath, and we're also going to be connecting our main ground cable to that terminal as well. So let's go ahead and get these connected so we can finish the rest of the install. All right, so the terminal that we're going to be connecting to is right below this terminal here, which is the red terminal. And it looks exactly the same. It's got a nut with a washer on it. So what we're going to do, because we can't get the camera in there, we're going to go ahead and hook those up. So we'll hook the black wires up to the terminal below, and then we'll show you exactly what we're doing when we connect the terminals at the top. All right, now that we've got our black cables connected underneath, we're going to go ahead and bolt down our winch to our winch plate. So we're going to insert our bolts from the bottom. Remember, we've already installed our square nuts in the base of the winch. Now we can go ahead and insert our bolts into those nuts and get them tightened down. So we've got 2 bolts in the front here, and then we've got 2 on the back side underneath the bumper. So we'll get those finger tight. Now your bumper may be different how you mount these up as far as clearances go, but the process is going to be the same. Now we'll get the 2 in the rear. All right, now we'll tighten them down. The 2 rear ones we can actually get to with a ratchet and a 16mm socket. The front 2 we're going to have to tighten down with a wrench because of the clearance issues. Now we'll tighten the 2 front ones down with a 16mm wrench. Now we can go back up top and reconnect the rest of our wires. All right, now as you can see, we've got 3 cables here coming out of our control module. We've got a red one, we've got 2 black ones, but one of the black ones has a yellow jacket on it, and the other one has a black one. Now, if you look at the studs on top, they also have a color-coded ring to go with them. So we have a red ring, a yellow ring, and a black ring. And that's how we're going to hook up our wires. Our red wire is going to go to the stud with the red ring. The yellow jacket is going to go to the yellow ring, and the black one is going to go to the black stud. So let's go ahead and get these hooked up. Now you'll notice also that there is a nut on each of these studs. This one you don't want to loosen up. That's what holds the stud to the motor itself. So now we're going to put one of the supplied flat washers on that nut. Lay our cable over the top. Use another flat washer. And then the nut on top of that. Now we can move on to the next one, which will be our black wire. And we'll do the same thing for that. Flat washer, the cable, and then the nut. Don't forget the other flat washer on top. Finally, we'll hook up our yellow cable. Flat washer, cable, another flat washer, and our nut. Now this process is the same thing that we did for the primary ground cable on the bottom stud of the motor itself. Now with everything connected, we'll go ahead and tighten them all down with a 14mm socket. Now with everything tightened down, we can go ahead and slide our protective boot over the studs. Now with that all in place, we can go ahead and secure our control box to the actual arms for the winch using a small Phillips head screwdriver. Now there are two screws on the back of the control arm here, and that's going to just basically lock it into this rod that goes across between the winch ends. So we're using a stubby Phillips head screwdriver and go ahead and lock those down to keep things from moving around. All right, once you've got one of them tight, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other screw over here on this side. Now it might be a little difficult to see here with all the cables running, but it's right there in the same basic position just on the other side as the one we just did. Now you may find it easier to access this screw from underneath. Now we can run up our main cables to our battery. All right, now as you can see, we've already run our primary power cables up into our engine compartment next to the battery. Now you can route these however works best for you. We just ran ours up alongside the radiator, and now we'll come back behind the battery to hook them up. So the first thing we're gonna do is hook up our red power cable. And you can see you've got several options here on your battery terminals of where you want to hook this up. Now, if you choose either one of the end ones, you'll have to supply your own nut. So for our purposes, we're just going to take one off here using a 10mm socket. So we'll just remove one of the nuts off of the stud that's already there. Place our red power cable onto that stud and replace the nut. Now with that one secure, we'll go ahead and loosen up the stud on the negative cable and hook up our black cable to it. And now we'll tighten them back down using our 10mm socket. All right, now that we've got power connected to our winch, we can go ahead and feed our cable through our fair lead roller. So we're going to use a pair of wire cutters to cut this zip tie. And now we can feed our cable back down through our rollers here. Now to feed this all the way through, what you're going to need to do is make sure that your switch on your winch is set to free spool. That way it'll free it up and you can pull it through. Now you go ahead and feed the end of the cable through the rollers and go ahead and lock it back into place. With that being done, now we can go ahead and attach our hook. To do that, what we're going to do is use a pair of needle nose pliers to bend back the cotter pin that holds in the retaining pin. Go ahead and slide that cotter pin out and then put our retaining pin out of the way and through our cable. Then we can put our cotter pin back in. Bend the end of it over. Make sure it doesn't fall out. And now we can go ahead and put it back into free spool to go ahead and hook it up to our D-ring just to hold it in place. Now that we've got everything hooked up, it's time to test out our winch, make sure everything works the way it should. So we've got our remote control here that we're going to plug into the top of the control box, so we'll lift up on the cap. Now this only goes in one way. And once you've got that in, you can go ahead and press either the out or the in button. Now we're going to go ahead and press the out button so that we can get the cable to come out, and then we'll go ahead and put it back in. Now you want to keep in mind that whenever you are using your winch, you never want to stand in front of it in direct line of the cable itself, because if it snaps or something breaks, you don't want to be in the way of that cable. It could cause serious injury or even possibly death. Now for our purposes today, we're going to be okay because we're not really pulling on anything other than my hand. So we'll go ahead and unhook our cable and then grab a hold of it and pull it tight. And then you can press the out button keeping your cable tight, of course. So you want to make sure you keep your cable tight. And now we'll press the in button and retract our cable.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of this Barricade 12,000-pound winch fitting all year and model Broncos, and you can find this right here at extremeterrain.com.